Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hey, Haribol, Madhu Sudan Das. It's morning here, so good morning. I don't know, it's probably late where you are. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, maybe like in the afternoon or something. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, okay, right around noon. Yeah, it's 7 in the morning here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. It really comes down to the same old story, you know. It's not what you know, but who you know. And that's a popular saying, you know, it's been around a long time, one of those colloquialisms. It's not what you know. They say it kind of like sarcastically in terms of like the business world, you know. That, you know, people advance within a company by who they know. And a lot of times the people that get to the top in a company are kind of dumb, you know, because they just sort of like, you know, wormed their way to the top by appeasing people. So they say, it's almost like a sarcastic saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But actually it's true in the spiritual platform. It's not what you know, it's who you know. That's really true. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's really true. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. About the storm. It went to the west of where we are here. Went to the west, so it just missed us. Got a little rain and a little bit of huffing and puffing with the wind, but it's just the beginning of the season, and the hurricanes for the next few months, they come right through here, so probably, you know, we'll get our fair share soon enough. I've tried to prepare as much as possible, you know, with, getting the water together, and I got a generator in case the electricity. So last year the electricity went out for 2 weeks here, so yeah, Yeah, really. That's a monster storm, yeah. I'm glad it went that way. I feel bad for those people, but Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. There, but for the grace of God, go I, So thank you, Krishna. I'm sorry for them, but thank you for sparing me. Hare Krishna, Hare, at least this time around, anyway. Hey, Haribol, Srila Gaur Hari Das. Hare Krishna. Jai, Haribol. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, you're right about, this is some level of devotional service and spontaneous love. It's way beyond any kind of Brahminical or Varnashram or four social orders. It's way beyond any of that. And you're starting to experience it, it starts to look like a costume party. We call it the clothesline, but everybody's dressed, to play a part within the social structure. It starts to look like a costume party. Halloween's coming up, Everybody has their costume on, It's like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But Prabhupada set it up, and there's a reason for it, There's a reason. There's a reason for it. But I was thinking how, you say, pick it up, it's a rope, okay? And then the spiritual master says, put it down, it's a snake. So, yeah, okay, Prabhupada said, go ahead and do this, and because he needed Brahmins. Really, if you're going to establish temples and deities, you have to have Brahmins. You really do. So he needed to make some disciples who could take up Brahminical service. He needed to do that. So pick it up, it's a rope. So, but now, okay, so there are some Brahmins who are actually, qualified to whatever degree they're qualified, and they're taking care of the deities and the temples. And so now it's not like everybody is supposed to do that. And then only someone who does that is actually serving Prabhupada, takes up the Brahminical thing. So now, that has to be, the purpose for that has to be clarified so that the real essence of bhakti can come out and not get stuck in that kind of mentality, that the Brahminical thing. But Prabhupada needed to do that, and he did it. Hare Krishna, Hare. But now something else needs to be done. You have to be able to recognize the devotional symptoms wherever they are. It's like, if there's gold, you'd be able to recognize where the gold is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So that's coming, and that's why I like to hear from Srila Gaur Haridas, because he's a real miner for that gold, boy. He's a gold bug. He's gonna unearth it wherever it may be. So, that gold of the actual bhakti. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Someday it'll be clear to everybody. Right now it's only clear to some of us, a very few, but it's becoming even more and more clear. As we go along this path, accepting Srila Gaur Haridas as our guide, it becomes more and more clear, more and more clear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. There's a big festival coming up here, weekend after Thanksgiving. And it's organized by the second generation, the children of the original Prabhupada disciples. And those kids, you know, a lot of them went through incredible hell, really, in those schools, and the care that they got from their parents was really, really off. It wasn't like natural love that those children got. They weren't nurtured with natural love and affection as they grew up. And because the parents were like doing this austerity thing, so it doesn't jive, you know. So these kids, a lot of them, you know, are kind of messed up. And there's actually been some suicides. Hare Krishna, among the children. So, you know, Hare Krishna. But there are survivors, and these survivors, they get it. I mean, they're really, really, really focused on the chanting of the holy name in ecstatic love. They're really, really focused on that. So this festival, several of them live here, and on Sunday evenings, after, you know, they do the Sunday program, the kids come in. These kids come in and they chant for hours and hours and hours, and it's really, really nice chanting. It's not jumping up and down, you know, and banging the kartals, although some of them do. But when they do it, it's nice. It's not like, you know, a bunch of renunciates, you know, all uptight about everything doing it. If they do it, it's because they're actually joyful, and it's like you feel like you're in a village, you know. And it's like you can see Govardhan Hill, and I mean, really, really nice kids. And so they've organized this festival the weekend after Thanksgiving. And it's going to be like 24 hours a day. I think it's 24 hours a day for at least a couple days. If it's not 24 hours, it's 12 hours. Anyway, a lot of chanting. And people are coming from all over. And these devotees are very expert with musical instruments, drums, tablas, harmoniums, flutes. I mean, you know, it's really a pretty exciting program. So that's coming up. And I don't know, I was thinking, you know, I've got a guest coming. Someone, it's a Christian lady that I met at a festival not too long ago. And she's just coming into Krishna consciousness, and she's had love for Jesus for a long time. And now she's like, wow, this is like, whoa, you know, it makes sense to her. Jesus has brought her to this movement like he has for a lot of us. And so she's going to stay with me for a couple days during this festival. And I was thinking, gee, you know, if Sachi could come back, you know, and I'm going to ask Sachi if she could come. And then, you know, because that'd be nice, you know. Sachi loves to chant. And, you know, she's good association, Sachi. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that could be fun. And I was maybe thinking to invite a couple other people who, you know, are like good candidates for this more spontaneous type of mood and loving service to the Lord. So we'll see what happens. That's coming up weekend after Thanksgiving. And we'll see. I'm working on a play, and I'm going to try and get some more material for it today. See if Krishna will let me get, I've got Act 1, Scene 1. I'm going to try and go for Act 1, Scene 2 today. We'll see what happens. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And yeah, you know, Srila Hari's right, you know. He says he's a goat head. He is. He says he's a Sudra. Yeah, he is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It doesn't matter. Hari Rama. Well, actually, it does matter because it really glorifies the Lord to see that He's working through persons like that. And, I'm kind of not, I got Brahmin initiation and I did some Brahminical service for a while, but it's not my nature. It's not my nature. I'm right in there with the goat heads, pretty much. I'm a little bit of a donkey myself, So, Hare Krishna, Hare. So it just makes the miracle even more wonderful. And that's what's needed, is to be able to actually see Krishna working and love of God developing in all sorts of people. That's why I really like that. I'll put a link to the video of Tukaram. I really like that little video of Tukaram. It's one of those Indian devotional films. It came out in the 30s, right around the time Bhaktisiddhanta was, at the height of his preaching there. A lot of these devotional movies came out in India, and black and white with subtitles. And it's just such a sweetest little video. Prabhupada mentions Tukaram in the Bhagavatam in the introduction, that he was initiated by Lord Chaitanya when Lord Chaitanya was touring Maharashtra province. And Tukaram became Krishna conscious Vaishnav in the Vaishnav line from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring. And Tukaram's influence is felt all over Maharashtra province. He was a great saint. And his story is very, very sweet. And so really, he wasn't a Brahmin, and he got a lot of resistance from the so-called Brahminical class at the time, which in the film they portray as actually a demon, who was really like an envious character who went out of his way to cause Tukaram problems. And Tukaram was just chanting and writing songs and singing and getting other people to sing and chant, remember Krishna, become happy and blissful. And the priest of the temple there saw it as a threat to his power and his control of the community. So he made a lot of trouble for Tukaram. But Krishna always stepped in, just like when Krishna stepped in to supply the sari for Draupadi, like Krishna was always stepping in. Krishna's hand and Krishna's protection was always obvious with Tukaram. And it's just a really sweet. And it's done very lightly. So it tickles you, it's like, these are difficulties, but your heart is like softened to see. The little film is a really nice film. So, but he wasn't a Brahmin, okay? He wasn't a Brahmin. He wasn't anything. He's kind of an avadut. He had a family, but working and supporting them was like he couldn't relate to it, And when he did try to work, there were some problems that came up, but then Krishna corrected everything. But yes, I'll put a link to it, and I've probably seen it about 100 times. And every time it's just as sweet as it was the first time. About this festival coming up, weekend after Thanksgiving, there's a little introduction here written by a really nice Mataji here. Her name is Sama Priya Devi Dasi. She's one of the older Prabhupada disciples. And she just goes around and hugs everybody and smiles, and she just loves everybody. She's a really sweet lady. And so she's written, it's kind of long, but it's worth hearing because it kind of gives a little history of the background of these children who are now young adults, and many of them are married and have children of their own. But what they went through as children, and the great sacrifice that they found themselves born into a situation that was. But then again, we hear that the demigods are waiting to take birth in this movement, so we don't know who these kids are, really. So this is the little introduction written by Samapriya, not for this year, but for 2015, because they've been doing this every year for a few years now. So, and it's getting bigger every year. So this is Samapriya Devi Dasi's little introduction for this Festival of the Holy Name, and for that year. But it holds true. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So she says, thanking our children is the name of her little article here, by Samapriya Devi Dasi. Small children are completely dependent upon their mother's care, who is always attentive to their every need, in every way, all the time. Many children of Srila Prabhupada's disciples were obliged to make a great sacrifice when they were very young. These children were asked to give up their mother's constant loving care for the benefit of the suffering conditioned souls in the world. Their mothers were soldiers in Lord Chaitanya's army. Some were book distributors on the front lines of a great war against the material energy. Others were part of the intricate network that fueled, supported, and maintained the desire of Srila Prabhupada to flood the earth with transcendental knowledge in the form of his books. Srila Prabhupada was the orchestrator of the greatest Brihat Mridanga ever sounded. So the Brihat Mridanga, you know what a Mridanga is? Well, the Brihat Mridanga is the printing press. So he was the orchestrator of the greatest Brihat Mridanga using the printing press ever sounded. Of course, now we have other media. We have the internet, which is turning out to be even a greater Mridanga. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and live in real time. So yeah, but Prabhupada used the printing press. That's what was available, and that was the Brihat Mridanga. Its tumultuous calls awakened the fortunate to the opportunity of perfecting their lives. These blessed children have now grown up, passing through severe battles of Maya's attacks. I mean, yeah. Many of them have been wounded or permanently scarred. Many of them now walk through life with a treasure rarely possessed by anyone else in this world. Through all their years of painful growing and trying to understand the unique circumstances of their births, a deep love and faith in Srila Prabhupada has blossomed in Alachua, Florida. Yeah, the young people here are really, really, really good. I mean, they chant. Like I say, on Sunday night, they chant for hours and hours and hours. That's really sweet. I mean, it's like, you know, sometimes I cry when I hear them chanting. I mean, it's like, wow. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All right, so this Alachua, Florida is a remote place far away from Sridham Mayapur. These beloved grandchildren and great-grandchildren of Srila Prabhupada performed a yajna for the pleasure of the Lord and welfare of all living entities. Through the strength of Srila Prabhupada's love, they bonded together to execute a great sacrifice, the Festival of the Holy Name. Yeah. That must be the first year, 2015, because she's writing this, explaining what the festival is. So this is like the third year. It's going to be coming up soon. And it is. She's right. It's a great sacrifice when you organize the chanting of the holy name and performing the sacrifice. So, as the names of Krishna burst forth into song from the enraptured hearts of the devotees, the transcendental sound vibration could be heard up to the heavens. Thank you to all who conceived of, organized, and participated in this great yajna. You demonstrated to the world the glories of the Sankirtan movement by absorbing yourselves fully and using the precious gift you were given. You have made your lives successful by taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada's love. Thus you have made our lives successful. Thank you, our darling children. May you continue to perform the Yuga Dharma with determination, taking nourishment from Srila Prabhupada's transcendental love, of which you are the rightful heirs. For you have made it clear to the world that Srila Prabhupada is always with you. That's such a sweet little article she's written there. But you get the idea, that these children are very, very attached to the chanting of the holy name. I mean, they're very attached. And it's really nice. So they organized this festival. And it's going to be a lot of chanting for these 2 days. And so that's what's coming. Okay, shoo. Let's read a little something from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're in Adi Lila, chapter 4, confidential reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is text 48. I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to my dear friend and spiritual guide, Srila Gaur Haridas. Hare Krishna. I wouldn't have a clue without Srila Gaur Haridas. Wouldn't have a clue. So, he's helping me understand more Srila Prabhupada. Yeah? Yeah? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Appreciate Prabhupada even more. And the devotees. Hare Krishna. Everyone. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Appreciation for everything's increasing. Even the demons. Okay. So, this is text 48. Well, let's go back to 47 because it sounds like in the middle of something here. Okay, yeah, the verses leading up to this verse were describing the different mellows in Vrindavan, the servitorship mood, the friendship mood, the parental mood, and then the conjugal mood. And then there's 2 branches to the conjugal mood. There's in marriage, there's the connection between the male and the female in marriage, and then the illicit connection, unmarried conjugal mood. So the verse 47, because Prabhupada's explaining about these things, and Krishnadas Kaviraj is writing about here, is there's a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal mood. Such love is found nowhere but in Vraj. This is so easily misunderstood. It has nothing to do with material sex life at all. Zero, zip, zilch. It really doesn't have anything to do with material bodies. This is on the spiritual platform. And yeah, it's like Krishna. Text 48. This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Vraj, but among them it finds its perfection in Sri Radha. Text 49. Her pure, mature love surpasses that of all others. Her love is the cause of Lord Krishna's tasting the sweetness of the conjugal relationship. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Text 50. Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Sri Hari himself, accepted the sentiments of Radha, and thus fulfilled his own desires. The purport by Srila Prabhupada, and several paragraphs here. Let me read the verse again. Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Sri Hari himself, accepted the sentiments of Radha and thus fulfilled his own desires, which were to experience what she experiences, and her experiences are the topmost of intense mood of loving exchange in mood of unwedded conjugal relationship. Hare Krishna. So he wanted to taste that. So he himself accepted the sentiments of Radha and he appeared as Gauranga. Prabhupada, of the 4 kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya is considered the fullest. They build. Within Madhurya Ras, the others are all there. The service mood, the friendship mood, and even the parental mood is all contained within the Madhurya. So it's the most the fullest experience of loving sentiments. It finds its perfection in Madhurya Ras. And Radharani is the embodiment of this perfection of Madhurya Ras. But the conjugal relationship is further divided into 2 varieties, namely Svakya and Parakiya. Svakya is the relationship with Krishna as a formerly married husband. And Parakiya is the relationship with Krishna as a paramour. Expert analysts have decided that the transcendental ecstasy of the Parakiya mellow is better because it is more enthusiastic. You have to work harder at it. You have to work harder at it. There are no guarantees. There's no papers signed. There were no formal ceremonies. And much of the time, it's not supported by a community and other family members. So you really have to work at Parakiya. Hare Krishna. This phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to the Lord in intense love, knowing well that such illicit love with a paramour is not morally approved in society. The risks involved in such love of Godhead make this emotion superior to the relationship in which such risk is not involved. Yeah. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in the transcendental realm. Svakya and Parakiya, conjugal love of Godhead, have no existence in the material world, and Parakiya is not exhibited anywhere in Vaikuntha, but only in the portion of Goloka Vrindavan known as Vraj. Very specific. Very specific. It's not even available in Vaikuntha. The Svakya is in Vaikuntha, but not Parakiya. Some devotees think that Krishna is eternally the enjoyer in Goloka Vrindavan, but only sometimes comes to the platform of Raj to enjoy Parakiya Ras. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, however, have explained that Krishna's pastimes in Vraj are eternal, like his other activities in Goloka Vrindavan. Vraj is a confidential part of Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna exhibits his Vraj pastimes on the surface of this world, and similar pastimes are eternally exhibited in Vraj in Goloka Vrindavan, where Parakiya Ras is ever existed. In the 3rd chapter of this epic, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has explicitly accepted the fact that Krishna appears in this material world at the end of Dwapara age of the 28th Chatra Yuga of Vaivasvata Manu and brings with him his Vrajadam, which is the eternal abode of his highest pastimes. As the Lord appears by his own internal potency, so he also brings all his paraphernalia by the same internal potency, without extraneous help. It's further stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Parakya sentiment exists only in that transcendental realm and nowhere else. This highest form of ecstasy can exist only in the most confidential part of the transcendental world, but by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible Vraj. Prabhupada's so surprising. That's such a funny thing. Huh. We can have a peep. We can have a peep into that invisible Vraj by the mercy of Gauranga, Chaitanya. The transcendental mellow relish by the gopis in Vraj is super excellently featured in Srimati Radharani. Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Radharani, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. Read that again. Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Radharani, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. The intensity of her loving service is the highest form of ecstasy. No one can surpass Srimati Radharani in relishing the transcendental mellow qualities of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord himself agreed to assume the position of Radharani in the form of Sri Gauranga. He then relished the highest position of Parakya Ras as exhibited in the transcendental abode of Vraj. Her feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. Wow. Incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. Hare Krishna. Oh, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Oh. And this looks like it's a verse from somewhere, although Prabhupada doesn't say where it's from. It's a Sanskrit verse and it's in quotes. And it's text 51. Lord Chaitanya is the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads, the be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be the object of my vision? So this is about Lord Chaitanya. He's the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads. Well, he's Krishna. The be-all, he's Radha and Krishna. The be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be the object of my vision? Yeah, that verse and now this one also are from the Stavamala of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is another verse from the Stavamala. Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarine mellows of the love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha, and so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. the limitless nectarine mellows of the love of one of his, of Srimati Radharani. The limitless nectarine mellows. Limitless. Limitless mellows. Limitless nectarine mellows. Hare Krishna. The reservoir of pleasure, Krishna. 53. To accept ecstatic love is the main reason he appeared and re-established the religious system for the age. I shall now explain that reason. And everyone, please listen. It's going to explain the ecstatic love, the main reason? Yeah, I guess. Let's see. Text 44. Having first given hints about the verse describing the principal reason why the Lord appeared, now I shall manifest its full meaning. Oh boy. And then he quotes a verse from the Swarup Damodar Goswami's diary. And it's also the 5th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, yeah, in the beginning, Krishnadas Kaviraj kind of outlined what he was going to be discussing. So now this is the 5th verse in that outline. And this is the verse from Swarup Damodar's diary. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now, these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. This verse has a big, long purport, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that for today, because Prabhupada's going to go into a deep discussion of how Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but now they're two, and he's going to go into a long discussion of that. And I think I'm just going to stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. It's all about taste. And, you know that saying, it's not what you know, but who you know? It's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean, that is so profound. I mean, it really is. That should be in Sanskrit and Chanakapani made or something. It's not what you know, folks. It's who you know. Yeah, and then not only who you know, but how you know them. And how they know you. So that's the why and the wherefore of it all. And let's just keep that who in mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you've got the who, the what kind of follows along behind, you know. Who you know, then you get the what you know comes. Hare Krishna. But if you think you know what without knowing the who, you don't really know the what either. You can't know the what without the who, because the what comes from the who. Somebody called you an owl. Who? That's why they say the wise old owl, he's always going, who? Who? You know, we got to listen. Krishna's trying to instruct us through all kinds of living entities. The owl's going, who? Who? You know, you gotta think. He's trying to tell you it's not what, it's who. If it was what, the owl would go, what? 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 But he doesn't. He goes, who? Who? Ah, Krishna. That's who. Radha Krishna. That's who.